Okay, everyone, welcome to the second session of our day, Building Education and Teacher Education Systems in Times of Crisis and Changes and Challenges. Our next session is devoted to cases from Israel. Both of the speakers are from Israel. And the first speaker is Mr. Eyal Ram. He is the Deputy Director General and Director of Teaching Personnel Administration, Ministry of Education in Israel. Eyal is responsible for the entire continuum of teacher development, from training in academic institutions through absorption in schools to supporting their professional development throughout their careers. Under his supervision, there are about 200,000 teaching personnel and about 50,000 teacher students. His talk will entail the effect of COVID-19 on teacher training in Israel. Eyal, the stage is yours.
Okay, so hello everybody. First of all, I want to thank Eli and Maria because they gave me a great opportunity to speak after them, and my lecture will completely follow, especially Maria, and to tell you what happened in Israel, which is not so far away from what happened in Portugal. So, but I want to start from a different direction, and I think that the COVID-19 show us that it's all about relations. It's all about how to make relationship, and this message will follow my whole lecture. But think about it. Think about what happened to you in the last 3 months with your parents if they are old, with your children if they are young, with your wife or husband, with your neighbors in the community, with your colleagues, with your community. And I think every place that you had a good relationship, they become even better. Every place that the relationship were not good, you were miserable there, especially at work, especially with your students. And it's all about this. And I think it's not just about how to teach online, but how to create a good relationship. But let's start. Most of the Israelis, of course, know those numbers, but I want to just to put you inside. In Israel, there are 33,000 students who teach in teacher education. They are studying in 29 academic teacher training colleges and universities. Every year, around 9,500 interns, new teachers are getting into the system, and they get 7,500 mentors, and they are part of 180,000 teachers that having a professional development around the years in 64 Pisgah centers, which are professional development centers that we are dealing all around Israel from north to south. Few more figures about Israeli teachers. You can see that most of them has a BA degree and some a master degree. It's like the average in the OECD. There is a high sense of post-training readiness if you ask the new teachers, according to Talis. And if you look at the amount of formal supporting that the new teachers get in Israel, it's double the OECD average, and Israel is ranked 4th in the world. The dropout is around 20% within 3 years, even less. And what is really different in Israel, and I think especially mainly in the last 5 or 10 years, that half of the new teachers are people who reassigned from other disciplines to education. So they learned something else, and they walked somewhere else, and they decided to join the education system. Also, if you look at the professional development, you can see that in Israel, more than 30% of the teachers say that they have a PLCs, a professional learning community, which is much more than the average in the OECD. I'm not saying this. I will come back to those numbers. That's why I give you this. So what happened in Israel that in the 12th of March we all moved to distance learning. It was immediately, and you can see that according schools, I'm not talking now about teacher education. There is a lot of digital content around the years that we created, and they use it a lot. 500,000 users per day took from content from websites of the Ministry of Education. We created in 2 weeks a national broadcasting. I heard that in Portugal as well, which more than 1,000 teachers were welcomed and gave their best lessons, and 350,000 students per day used it. It's also on the television, broadcasting in all the channels of television. And the virtual classroom, we got from Zoom free entrance to all the virtual classroom, and you can see the numbers. And now we are doing lots of bargaining with the other companies as well to see how we're going to do next year. If you look, that's a survey that the OECD made a month ago, and you can see that Israel is one of the world's leading administrators with arrangements that made distance teaching effective and accessible. If you ask the principals of schools, usually I show this slide in Israel because all the time we look what's not good, and you can see that Israel went quite good through this crisis. If I'm going to the academic institutions, so the first thing was to create partnership with not just with high schools, but mainly high schools where it worked, the distance learning worked even better, but also with other schools. We managed that most of the students of the high school will go and create their practicum online with the teachers, and it was very important for us that they will have this opportunity to do it, and they might be more ready for next year, because next year going to be a corona year as well. It didn't work well so much in the kindergarten and in the elementary schools, and that's something that we still need to work on. And I think that in schools that had good relationships with the academic institutions, so they did all kinds of professional development schools and stuff like this, it happened much better. So I think the relationship between the academic institutions and the schools is crucial for making all kind of practicum during the crisis as well. We also needed to make agreements between the employers and the faculty members and to create schooling options throughout the summer. So we are opening tomorrow 5 weeks of summer school that the students that didn't manage to finish their practicum can join, and hundreds of them are going to do that, can join, and especially in the kindergarten and the elementary school, can come and fulfill their requirements. We also developed diverse policies and models for distance education. It happened all the time. Now we are during the beginning of the second wave of COVID-19 in Israel, and yesterday evening we got a new regulation that we cannot do the tests inside the campuses of the academic institutions. So we need to create all the time new policies and new models. How can we make it? And it was very intense and happened in most of my nights in the last 4 months. we managed to do a transition to online courses on a massive impact. I'll show you in the next slide. And during Mofet Institute, that it's an opportunity to say for them, thank you for this conference as well. Mofet Institute is working very closely with the Ministry of Education. We created everyday training for pedagogical instructors and for other lecturers, how to use and how to do better online teaching. I think that in Israel, like everywhere around the world, it didn't just the distance learning didn't just started one day. In Israel, we have MOOCs for a few years. All the courses in Israel has a Moodle site. All the lecturers know how to use it. All the students know how to use it. They were accepted. These are the school that they're going to do. Of course, an ultra-Orthodox school. And the money is waiting for them. Stuff like this, very formal. But the rabbis are not allowing them now from yesterday night to join this because they don't want that just after they permit to put emails at home, that they start connect with the Students' Union of Israel. So it's crazy. It's nights of talking with rabbis, what is possible and what is not possible. And I can understand them as well, because it's a huge change for them to start like this. But in a way, we don't know when it's going to change. And if they're not going to put it, it will be very hard to do a whole training through telephone systems. We also managed to create, for example, a website for all the different seminars, the different institutions, and all the lecturers put their materials and use them together. And that was something that happened it was very special. Some of them also use Zoom and things like this, but it's only the more pluralistic ultra-Orthodox sector. Another thing that happened, that we all the time we looked for the opportunities that we have here, because as Maria said, and you all know that crisis is also always an opportunity. In Israel, we have a high birth rate, and before the corona, we had a low employment percentage, and we all suffered from teachers shortage in many subjects. And suddenly we had a lot of unemployment, and the high birth is still high. And we managed to tell 400 academics in very special subjects that we really need, that we have a big shortage, and usually sometimes they come even without even any training. And we managed to create in 10 different colleges and universities a special program for them during the crisis, and try to put them already on September that coming for next year to join our system. So that was now, we called it New Direction, and it was a program that went during this crisis. In Israel, the COVID-19 crisis came together with the temporary government, and we had no budget and not really a opportunity to spend the money, but we made it somehow. Another thing that we felt, that because we created this long summer school, and students, not just teacher education students, but students around Israel needed money, and we managed to get tens of millions for scholarship, for teaching assistants for the summer. And during those days, around 40,000 students from all over universities and colleges want to become assistants, and it will bring some kind of new blood for the system for the summer school. There is a big conversation in Israel what happened to the teacher status in Israel during during this time, because some of the media and the teachers with the unions were took it to a place that how many vacation days and things like this. But I think that after all, and we saw it in one of the last researchers that Yitzhak Gilat from Levinsky College conducted, that during the COVID crisis, people changed their minds about the teacher status, but most of them, as you can see in the next one, that 40% of the people, that parents and kids in high school changed their minds about teacher status, but the positive change was 2 times more between among kids and 1.5 among parents. And I think it happened because at the end, as Eli said at the beginning, teaching considered now more vital service than it was before. And parents, they could feel what is it, how it is to teach. The door of the class was opened. The parents showed, the parents were part of it. They needed to partner with the teachers. They saw what the teachers did and how creative they were. Of course, it's not just creative. They saw some other stuff as well, but most of them said at the end, we think about teachers better than we thought about them before. And the main idea is what will be now, how the teachers will know how to do their relationship with pupils, with schools if they're not coming to school, with their colleagues, with the teachers, with getting all the regulations and the policies from the Ministry of Education or from the municipality, with the parents, with the academic lecturers, that they part of their professional development. And we are working now, it's going to be a long summer, how to give all the teachers the possibilities to create better relationships, and how to help them to help the academic institutions to make better relationship with the schools, that the practicum will work better, and how to use different methods of online learning, because we think that next year will be exactly like the last semester, and we have to be part of it. So
Now you have 5 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm finishing now. So if I have one message, is as I said at the beginning, it's about relations. I think that's what the corona, that's the message of the corona. If I see it, I feel it in our relationship with the colleges. I feel it in the relationship between the finance ministry and the teachers unions. Whenever it was good, it works fine. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eyal. And now Jay will take some of the questions that have been posted on the chat.
Okay, the main question that's been asked relates to next year. Is there presently a formal national guidelines document that tells teachers what they're supposed to expect in terms of distance learning next year, or how they're supposed to perform?
We are working on it now. I cannot say. We have now 34 different committees that the new minister established, and in 2 weeks we will gather around everything. It starts from how to make a matriculation exam, all the way to have how to get the Bedouin. Bedouin, it's like the nomads of Israel. How they don't have so much They suffer from problems with no computers and no internet connection in their villages, and all the way to professional development and teacher training. Everything is combined now together, the different methods. And probably now we went to a summer vacation, but probably in 2 weeks we will know what are the possibilities for next year.
It seems so that what you're saying is that there's no such thing as one size fits all. In other words, there can't be guidelines for all schools because there are going to be different needs and different circumstances that each has to fit into.
Yes, it's completely different. What happened in if parents can help their kids, it's completely different from, as I said, ultra-Orthodox family that they don't have even one smartphone at home, and there are 8 kids. 8 kids, it can be even more, but 8 kids in a three-room apartment, it's not the same.
Okay, another question that was raised now was you reported the survey about the change in attitudes toward teacher status. Where was this conducted? What sort of survey was that? Who was in it? That was a question that was asked now by Anat.
It was conducted by, as I said, by Levinsky College, and there were, it's ongoing research. They studied the teacher status every year for, I think, I saw it for the last 4 years. It was around 500 parents and high school kids.
Okay, thank you. Danya doesn't ask a question here, but she makes a very good point that we'd all like to know about, which is that the Mofet Institute has been very active in preparing student teachers for the needs of technology. So thank you, Danya, for reminding us all of that. And Professor Tamar Aryav asks about whether special attention is being given toward assisting new teachers in entering next year, which is, I admit, an interesting problem here. That's, how we call it, tefillah be'esh. Being a first-time teacher in situations such as Corona must be a very stressful activity. Is something special being done toward getting them to understand the situation they're in?
Yes. I say it in both, in 2 ways. One is the new teachers. We were happy that it happened in the second semester, not in the first semester, because if it was in the first semester, it was really, really, really hard. But as I said before, in Israel, the formal induction is much more helping new teachers than other countries. We didn't see any big problem that new teachers suffered more than other ones. I think that in every community that the school and the professional learning communities the teachers have, and especially new teachers, they have a lot of support, so they manage to do it through this. For next year, it will be complicated because many new teachers will probably come in, but most of them conducted part of their practicum last year, so they kind of...
נכון, יש יוצאים עכשיו, אז זו פרקטיקה משנתיים אחרות, 3 שנים.
Thank you, Tipi.
Ken, we're connecting the next 2 talks, so very good.
אני חושב ששמעו אותי.
Eyal, please, you can sum up.
No, okay. So I'm not. I think that it's we're in it. It's very hard to conclude what happened, to understand what happened. We are completely in it now. Every day, regulations are changing, and we don't know exactly where it goes. But the relationships stays. And that's my message. That's my message. Keep the relationship good, and the rest will come with it. Especially with the, I want to say, maybe I saw in one of the comments that they said that maybe I said something not so nice about the Orthodox. I want to tell you that I'm talking with the Orthodox management rabbis almost every day. I'm working with them very close, and we have a great relationship. That's why we are managing to do it as well. But there is a big for them. It's a huge step to go into the internet era, I can say.